What's up, guys? Today is an exciting day because today is the day that I'm going to turn this windowless cargo van into something a little less sketchy. So I know I've mentioned this before, but just to reiterate, this is a 2022 Sprinter 170 extended 2500 chassis, and this is the cargo version, so there are no windows beyond the passenger section there. Both Randy and I obviously want to change that, so today I'm going to be installing a big sliding window right here. I'm going to be installing 2 windows back here as well, and then on the driver's side over here, I'm going to be installing a fixed window right here. So you might be asking, why are we putting a fixed window here instead of an opener like we're doing on the other side? Let me explain. So as you know, I installed this second row seating right here, both for the 2 car seats as well as for extra passengers down the line. And I want them to have windows. But the thing is, the bathroom is probably going to go to about right there. So a third of this window is actually going to be covered up, but the passengers will still be able to see out the other 2/3 because I've installed these seats pretty far forward. I decided against a slider on this side because I figured the bathroom covering up some of the window might affect the way that slider operates. So it is what it is. They're gonna have a window, but it's not gonna open. So I've got all 4 windows chilling in their boxes right here, ready to go. Let's get to it. All right, so these are the 2 rear windows. Obviously they're smaller, they look good. And then this is the opener. This is gonna go on the sliding door. And this is actually upside down. As you can see, by the way, it's angled. The whole thing actually needs to flip. So it needs to be more like that. And as you guys can see, if this were on the opposite side, that bathroom would probably bisect the window about right there. So this slider wouldn't really have worked that well for that side. All right, so all the windows look good and I've got all the equipment ready to start cutting the holes in the van. And that definitely makes me nervous, but everything I've watched about this, I've watched the videos on how to do this like 10, 20 times, and it seems relatively straightforward and relatively easy. The one thing I'm nervous about is I'm trying to do all four windows in one day, because it's not gonna rain here for 2 days. So I just wanna take advantage of that window and I wanna get it all done at once because my time is always very limited. So we're gonna try to get it all done today. I think it's gonna be possible. It's gonna be tough, but let's see what happens. And if I screw up, well, it'll be a learning experience. All right, those seats are out of the way for now, and I can get cutting. Now to say the cliche thing, there's no going back from here. So I just put some tape on the bottom of the jigsaw there. I got a nice pack of metal blades meant for thick metal, for thick steel, ear protection, eye protection. Safety is sexy. So this was actually going okay. It wasn't 100% perfect. I figured it'd be all right. We're putting a trim on anyway. But when I got here, I was trying to use this right here to stabilize the jigsaw and it was working. However, the blade, I believe, got dull pretty quickly and it walked. It went well below where we're supposed to be. So this is my first screw up. got a big hole in our van. So, you know, aside from that, right there, which is fixable, everything seems to be pretty okay. You know, obviously the cut's not completely perfect, but I could live with that. And I'm gonna grind down, shave down, so that, you know, this cut here is as close to the inner cut. So as you guys can see, there's a, you know, there's a little gap. It's a double layer right there. The trim's gonna go over both of those layers, so you're not gonna see, you know, the small imperfections, but I wanna get this as close to this as possible. So now looking towards the passenger side, we've got to cut the, you know, door panel out. So we're gonna do the exact same thing, use the jigsaw, but this time we're gonna lubricate it really well, and I think this hole is gonna come out much, much better. Let's find out. That cut came out way better. Everything is, you know, as close to basically perfect as I'm gonna get with the jigsaw, except I did have one little mistake right there, but that is gonna look totally fine once the trim is over it. So not as big of a mistake on this one as the last one. So with each cut, I'm getting better. Let's go ahead and get started. Not as big of a cut. And yeah, so let's do it. Alright, so I've gone ahead and vacuumed up all of the little shards and all of the metal dust everywhere, so everything's nice and clean. I went ahead and also wiped down all the surfaces that I'm going to be painting with primer with acetone. And so now everything's nice and clean, ready for this primer here. Now it is a spray automotive primer. They had one that wasn't in a spray, it was in like a little tub, but it was a lot more money. This is the same stuff, so what I'm going to do is actually spray it on a piece of cardboard and then just dab it along the, you know, along the rails here. So that's basically all there is to this stage. The reason I am, you know, dabbing it on versus spraying it on is I just, you know, I'm worried about overspray. So I'm going to dab it on, let it dry, and then I'm going to add the trim rings, and then we can pop those windows in. I'm excited. It's all going to happen today. Everything looks like it is coming together, so I'm happy. All right, I've got 2 coats of primer on all of the raw edges now. Now we just give it some time to dry. We'll put the trim in, and then we'll put the windows in. All right, guys, it is time to trim these windows. The primer has now had a good chance to dry, and we're gonna be applying this. So this is a 1/2 inch trim. It's like a rubberized trim here. And it has a, if you look at it, it kind of locks in place there a little bit, but you push it on and then you can use pliers or whatever to kind of crimp it together, because it has a metal, I don't know, has like metal in there to, you know, crimp it on. So we're gonna go ahead and attach it, and hopefully everything's gonna look pretty good. Let's go ahead, and we're gonna start with the worst window first. Alright guys, I think that looks pretty good given how bad it looked earlier. And you know, all I did was just kind of cheat the trim a little bit in certain areas strategically. Just kind of did it by eye, and then now I'm going to go around and lightly crimp it so that it stays in place. And then we're going to move on to the next window. Glorious, and let's move to the back. All right guys, we're gonna start with the rear windows. I believe this is the rear passenger side window, and what we need to do is clean both surfaces. We need to clean the surface of the window with acetone, as well as the back of the vehicle where it's going to be adhering to. Now we're going to be using this stuff right here, 1 tube per window, Sikaflex Solo. This is a primerless windshield adhesive, so it's a one-step. You apply it with a nice bead with a triangular shaped pattern, and you stick the window up, and that's it. In I believe 3 to 6 hours you're able to drive, but we're gonna give it about 24 just to be safe. Let's go ahead. Yeah. 4 of them. Alright guys, so we've got 3 out of 4 in. As you can see, my hands are disgusting right now. I really wish I would have gotten gloves, but I didn't, and yeah, whatever. But that went in really, really well. That was tough, and didn't get it on video because, again, my hands were just disgusting. Now getting to the camera, and those went in really well. So we've just got 1 more left, and I'm going to set up a time lapse for that, and you guys can watch me put it in. Got my biggest fan up there. And there we have it, guys. Window. opening window. 2 back door windows. I definitely think it makes the van look pretty cool. Definitely less sketchy. Let's take a look at the windows from the inside. Checking out the rear windows first. They came out really good. I'm happy with them. And then we've got the driver's side static window here. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. And also keep in mind that this trim right here is going to be covered up by wooden trim anyway. So ultimately, it's going to look even better. I think that for the amount that I jacked this area up, it looks pretty good. There is one little area up here that I didn't get the trim on as tight as I could have. Oh well. And then looking at the door here, this one came out really good. And this slider opens easily, has a screen on it in case you want the screen, or if you don't want the screen, slide open the screen too. Overall, guys, that is that, and I'm happy with the way things are turning out. I love these windows. Now that they're installed, the van is so much brighter inside. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but it just is. It's really nice in here. Also, as you can see, we've got the bench set up for the 2 car seats. There's Morgan's car seat, and this is the base station for Leo's car seat. And now, when they're back here, they can see out some windows. Also, one other thing I wanted to mention is there is a massive blind spot right there, and it's kind of scary sometimes when you're driving it. So that window also solves the blind spot problem, and this van is a lot nicer to drive now. So that's it for this step of the build out. We've got the windows in, we've got the floor insulated right down here. The next thing we're gonna do, you can actually already see, I have the boxes right there. We're going to be installing the finished floor over the subfloor. Once that's installed, we're going to frame everything with 80/20, and I'm really excited for that step because that's when you're going to start seeing the inside of this van really come together. So check out the flooring that I'm going to be putting in. It is waterproof, rigid core vinyl plank flooring, and it's in like a brownish gray tone. It's going to look good. It's super thick, it's rigid. It also has a sound mitigating underlayment, so that's going to be pretty nice. So the flooring's cool, but check this out right here. I thought this was really slick. So this is actually going to be our water tank. It's a 32-gallon water tank, but as you can see, it fits really nicely over the wheel well. It makes use of what is otherwise kind of an awkward space to make use of. Now I've got it just sitting over this wheel well. It's actually gonna go over that one for the weight and balance of the van because the diesel tank's on this side, so we're gonna put the water tank on the opposite side. Anyway, it's gonna go right there. I just thought it was pretty cool. I've already talked about the composting head. We have still yet to use it, but it rides around with us all the time anyway. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell if you wanna know each and every time I drop a van conversion video. See you guys.